I'm Kijan Haynes.
I am Jassi Marik with the sport.
And I'm Sigoni Mohammed with your weather report.
Let's tell you what's making the news tonight. Western Division Police report mixed success under SOE restrictions, with some major crimes down, while kidnapping and fraud increase.
San Fernando man fatally shot by police hours after a video of him firing a gun went viral.
Police moved to officially charge a 26-year-old suspect in the brutal killing of Mercedes Lane.
Coming up in sport.
Maybe sometimes it's good as well to just, chill, relax.
Amidst growing turbulence, mere hours before kickoff, FIFA President Infantino attempts to redirect the World Cup narrative.
Another tropical wave is approaching the islands. Join me later to find out which areas have the highest chances of thunderstorm activity and what early morning commuters should expect tomorrow.
As discussions over the extension of the state of emergency assumed focus today, police in the Western Division are reporting some successes in their crime-fighting efforts.
During a TTPS media briefing this morning, head of the Western Division, Senior Superintendent Sylvester Williams, confirmed that between January 1st to June 8th, several categories of serious reported crimes, including murders, shootings and woundings, sexual assaults, car thefts and larcenies, have decreased. For the same period, Williams also acknowledged that fraud and kidnappings were on the rise. However, he was unable to provide actual data to back up the claims.
With respect to kidnappings, in most instances, arrests have already been made. The break-in offenses occurred predominantly in the St. James and the West End police districts.
There have been 3 double murders in the division so far this year. Williams said several gang members have been charged with offenses, but none have been actually charged specifically for being members of a gang.
And we are, in fact, investigating. We're still investigating with the view of possibly having charges laid against some of these gang members for gang offenses.
Williams was also unable to cite exactly how many gang members have been arrested and charged at the time.
At today's briefing, the police was also unable to provide the latest SOE statistics on arrests and detentions, promising to provide the data afterwards.
Hours after videos of a man openly carrying and firing a gun in the Union Hall community went viral on social media, he was shot dead during a confrontation with police.
Investigators say officers were acting on information related to burglary and firearm offenses when they went to Silk Cotton Drive and encountered the suspect. According to police, the man pointed a firearm at officers who responded by discharging their weapons. The suspect was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Residents who gathered after the shooting said the videos had heightened concerns about crime and burglaries in the community. One resident said fear of break-ins had become a bigger concern for many people living there.
You live here? Yeah. People was more scared of their apartments, being broken, things stole, taken out of it, and actually hard working, earnings, you know what I'm saying? And that is what they was more scared about. But this area is known to have, a lot of youths with guns, you know what I'm saying, Dred? But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Well, residents allege that a group of young men had been linked to a series of burglaries and robberies in the area over the past year, with several apartments reportedly targeted.
Police remained at the scene collecting evidence and interviewing relatives as investigations into the fatal shooting continue.
A 72-year-old Claxton Bay pensioner remains traumatized following a terrifying home invasion in which she and her daughter were tied up and threatened.
Their ordeal began shortly after 2 a.m. on Monday when 2 intruders entered their home by removing louver panes from a window. The bandits then confronted the elderly woman and her 36-year-old daughter, who were sleeping on separate beds in the same bedroom. The mother and daughter were bound with tie straps while the intruders spent nearly 2 hours ransacking the house in search of cash and other valuables. Still visibly shaken and traumatized, the elderly woman, who declined to appear on camera, says she's fearful the bandits could return.
I put a hand over my mouth, and they say, if you only ball up, I will kill you right now. And they're telling her, I will kill your mother. I will kill your mother if you don't cooperate. So she had to stay quiet like a lamb. So we couldn't do nothing. We couldn't bawl, we couldn't nothing because none of the neighbors heard.
The pensioner supports the state of emergency extension but says authorities must be tougher on criminals. She describes the ordeal as a nightmare, saying she prayed they would spare their lives.
I said, Lord, I only call in Jesus' name. I said, Jesus, help me. This is the time I need you. I said, let her go with everything but not thing, but spare my life. And he did it. It was terrible. It was awful. I feel they should be more serious with criminals. When they catch them, deal good with them. Don't let them go. Leave them in prison.
The suspects escaped with cash, jewelry, and cell phones.
And a Gasparilla man is recovering in hospital after being shot during a violent home invasion. Police say around 2 a.m. on June 5th, two armed intruders entered a home along Caratal Road where the victim and a 28-year-old woman were asleep. Investigators say the suspects demanded money, drugs, and a cell phone before pistol whipping the man and shooting him in the neck. The woman managed to escape unharmed, while the suspects unsuccessfully attempted to steal the victim's vehicle before fleeing the scene. The injured man was taken to the San Fernando General Hospital for treatment. Police recovered 5 spent shells at the scene.
A 26-year-old Palo Seco man is expected to appear before a High Court master tomorrow in connection with the murder of 12-year-old Mercedes Lane.
The Director of Public Prosecutions advised investigators to lay the charge after reviewing the file submitted by officers. The suspect of Dickie Trace was detained just hours after Mercedes' body was found. Mercedes was reported missing by her grandfather around 4 p.m. on Saturday. He told investigators he placed the child in a wagon and asked the driver to take Mercedes to her Los Zero home, a trip less than 5 minutes away. But she never arrived. As groups searched for the young girl, an oil company worker discovered the child's semi-nude body in a forested area along a dirt road off Carapal Road in Erin. An autopsy found she had been beaten to death. The child was a Standard 4 student of St. Francis Erin RC School. Well, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar says her government has adopted a whole-of-government approach to protecting this nation's children.
During Prime Minister's question time in the Parliament, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar was asked by the opposition to indicate what measures the government has taken or intends to take to strengthen support and protection services for children. The question was asked in the context of recent criminal incidents affecting children.
The PM outlined the government's strategy, which includes improving collaboration between the Children's Authority and the TTPS.
We have accelerated efforts to strengthen children protection systems, improve case management, and enhance information sharing amongst agencies so that warning signs do not fall through the cracks. We are also working to increase frontline capacity within agencies responsible for child welfare and family support, recognizing that prevention begins long before a crisis occurs.
Still to come in the news, opposition demands answers on the government's justification for extending the SOE, while a security expert pushes for curfews.
Finance Minister defends hefty increases in fines, saying tougher penalties are needed to protect citizens and crack down on wrongdoing.
Coming up in sport, West Indies women suffer another warm-up defeat heading into the ICC T20 World Cup.
Lights up, stadium glow, whole Caribbean ready, feed the show. Flags high, whole place loud, World Cup fever inside the crowd. Brazil fire, Argentina flame, Spain and Portugal run the game. France come strong, Germany rise, every nation under one sky.
Kingston wear them colors high, Port of Spain set the night on fire, trash down chanting side by side.
Whole Caribbean worldwide, raise your flag now. To the sky now.
people, including 2 women, have been detained under preventive detention orders under the emergency powers regulations.
The woman named Anika Chady of Piparo and Akima Ferguson of Londonville and Edinburgh 500. Among the men, authorities flagged 2 cases as particularly serious.
Jacinho Bonio was identified as allegedly planning an armed robbery targeting Fred's Meat Shop in Tunapuna. Curtis Issa was described as an armed enforcer linked to gang conflict in Morva and alleged plans for escalating violent attacks.
The remaining detainees were also held on allegations of organized crime activity, firearms offenses, and planned violent offenses.
Opposition leader Penelope Beckel says it's clear the government has no plan to address crime and is relying on SOE extensions for reprieve.
Speaking with reporters on a way to the Parliament before the debate began, Beckles noted the lack of data to support the measure.
If you offered yourself and you said when UNC wins, everybody wins, and if you say to the public that we have a plan, we are going to reduce crime, it cannot simply be a state of emergency.
And former Prime Minister and National Security Minister Stuart Young insists the government has no proper justification for extending the SOE and finds the PM's reasons for doing so falls flat.
He says the opposition's position is clear. The SOE is not a crime-fighting measure, but rather government's tool for suppression.
And my concern is what we've seen them use the state of emergency regulations to do is to suppress legitimate citizens from expressing their views. A democracy, the government needs to be reminded we live in a democracy, and part of democracy is that citizens have a right, if they are dissatisfied with the government, to voice their concerns and to do so.
But Young said much more will be shared during this evening's debate. Well, with government moving to extend the state of emergency for another 3 months, one regional security expert is advocating for the implementation of curfews.
The suggestion comes from Dr. Garvin Hira, who has been calling for clearer objectives. Given the level of crime and criminality across the country, the former head of the National Operations Center admits that law enforcement needs additional support. But with the SOE being implemented as a crime-fighting measure, he explained that its prolonged use is causing criminals to acclimatize, with its effectiveness being reduced. Dr. Hira is advocating for greater command and control.
I would honestly say to the planners right now, to the strategists, if we are going to reintroduce this SOE, if we are going to debate the effectiveness of having one, let us consider for this one maybe some curfews. Let's try to control the thing a little bit. Let's try to keep people off the streets at a certain time. Let's be able to bring back some law and order, especially with the streets and in certain key areas where we could introduce the command and control of those areas, taking back certain operational capabilities within certain areas. Because
a similar sentiment was shared by the Chaguanas Chamber president on learning that the government would be extending the SOE. Dr. Hira says if the measure is to be used as a crime-fighting tool, then there must be a re-strategizing of its implementation with clearer objectives.
If, as it is, that it's going to be passed and we're going to go back into the SOE, which in some circles is welcome, in some circles is we need it, then let us go at some of the, the high threats, the high risks, and I think corruption, white-collar crime, those issues of transnational organized crime is also big. We can't be just going at one level, only taking certain people off of the streets, holding them under PDOs. Let's see some high-level investigations and arrests also. That is also needed to restore and to stabilize our country.
Regionally, Dr. Hira says Trinidad and Tobago is viewed as relying on the SOE to restabilize the country, but the effects are not being seen. Health Minister Dr. Lakran Budo is urging citizens to avoid all travel to 3 countries on the African continent amid an Ebola outbreak. In a statement to the Parliament today, Budo said the Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, and South Sudan have been designated high-risk zones due to the spread of the virus. He noted that the World Health Organization has declared the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern. The minister also warned that travelers arriving from those countries will face enhanced health screening and a mandatory 21-day monitoring with isolation or quarantine measures imposed where necessary.
With Tobago's budget debate set for June 25th, the political leader of the Innovative Democratic Alliance is calling on the Tobago House of Assembly to come clean on its last allocation.
Tobago received $2.96 billion in the 2025-2026 national budget last October, its largest allocation from central government to date. But Dr. Denise Soifat-Anga says the allocation has not trickled down to the people of Tobago.
We are not feeling the allocation on the ground. They're still telling special interest groups and persons that they don't have money to pay for different things. They don't have money to support them. Yes, we have seen some road paving. Yes, they took up $250 million and sent to 2 contractors in Trinidad to build houses in Tobago. But other than that, we're not seeing or feeling the benefits of this increased allocation.
She wants the THA's Chief Secretary and Finance Secretary to disclose whether the last allocation from central government was ever received in its entirety, and she demands they be more transparent.
Therefore, if we're not receiving it, this assembly is quite disingenuous because they have not been saying to the people that they have not been receiving the allocation. And that could be the only reason that I see why they keep saying they don't have money. Other than that, whether they're mismanaging the funds that they're being given.
Dr. Soifat-Anga says if the Assembly plans to ask for more money, then it must explain what was done with the last $1 billion allocation.
As government prepares for Monday's mid-year budget review, farmers are calling for urgent action on pre-deal larceny, rising production costs, and support for small agricultural businesses.
Meanwhile, a Canadian outsourcing company is deepening its investment in TNT, adding jobs and expanding its footprint. Andrea Perez-Sobers has more in tonight's Business Watch.
The president of the Sheep and Goat Farmers Association, Shiraz Khan, is calling on government to make agriculture a priority in Monday's mid-year budget review. Khan says farmers continue to face rising costs, inadequate support services, and a growing threat from pre-deal larceny.
What we have is an increased incidence of larceny, petty thieves, and pre-deal larceny. Only this morning, somebody stole 8 cows from a farmer in Castlefield here this morning, right? We have a number of pre-deal larceny and petty thieves taking place in the communities.
Khan is also criticizing proposals that could place additional regulatory or tax burdens on small-scale producers of products such as coconut oil, pepper sauce, and vinegar. Turning to other business news, Single Point Group International is expanding its operations in Trinidad and Tobago with an additional investment of $1.1 million. The outsourcing company now has a total investment of $5.1 million in the country and has added 11 new employees to its local operation. Single Point started operations in Londonville, Chaguanas in September last year with 75 employees after relocating from the Dominican Republic. The company says TNT's highly educated native English-speaking workforce and close proximity to North America made it the ideal location for expansion. Global Trinidad and Tobago Chief Executive Officer Sekou Allen says BPO investments continue to support economic development through foreign exchange earnings, job creation, and career opportunities for young people. And now for a look at today's energy and foreign exchange prices. Andrea Perez-Sobers, CNC3 Business Watch.
It's now time for tonight's financial tip.
Money Matters, brought to you by Answer Bank.
Ever wondered what's the difference between a checking account and a savings account? Think of it this way. A checking account should be viewed as your spending hub. Your salary should be deposited here. It is used to pay bills and cover your groceries. It largely offers instant access for transactions and transfers, but it earns very little interest. A savings account should be seen more as your holding vault for money that you aren't expected to use daily. Instead, it should be used to build an emergency fund or for future financial goals. Placing money in a savings account should see it grow over time as the bank pays interest to help that money grow. So remember, bills and recurrent expenses should come from your checking account, and your future focused money should be placed in your savings account.
Money Matters, brought to you by Answer Bank.
All right, still to come in the news, alleged act of vandalism blamed for major power scare. TNTech says an intruder entered a substation, triggering this morning's voltage dip.
Don't go anywhere, because tonight's weather could determine how you prepare for tomorrow morning.
Discover your favorite treat with Casey Candy Gummies. Sweet or sour, dive into a wave of fun shapes and flavors. Our halal gummies are made with fruit juices, and every bite is packed with fun, chewiness, and pure deliciousness. Perfect for an everyday snack, birthday parties, or lunch boxes. Make your snack time irresistible. And enjoy your day with Casey Gummies.
Get a loan at Bremont. The process is simple. Fast and efficient approvals. Receive funds within 24 hours once approved. And no penalty for early repayment. Located at 4 Gallows Street, Woodbrook. Remember, we like to lend.
The detergent smells nice while washing, but when you use the new Downy Intense fabric softener, with its new multi-capsule fragrance, it releases an intense scent that lasts twice as long. With the new Downy Intense, you'll enjoy a rich and delightful fragrance that keeps you feeling fresh 24/7.
Discover the taste of tradition with Fine Choice Meats. Our products are made with locally grown chickens, raised on a healthy low-fat diet with no added hormones or steroids. Our commitment to quality guarantees a delicious and nourishing culinary journey. From our farms to your family, choose Fine Choice Meats.
Attention all listeners, are you ready for the ultimate news experience? Introducing the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, the nation's first and most subscribed newspaper. We deliver where others can't. With the widest delivery network in TNT, you can have the Guardian delivered right to your doorstep or office every single day. Take advantage of our special annual subscription offer so you can stay on top of the leading stories even when you're on the go. Sign up today. Time is running out. Inquire about our 3-month and 6-month packages as well.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Finance Minister is tonight defending the heavy increase in fines that government has brought in the finance bill. Minister Devendranath Tanku told the lower house today that the fees for certain penalties have been increased to protect the population and deter wrongdoing.
However, the opposition believes it is simply a revenue-generating method by a government that cannot generate money without picking the pockets of the people. Akash Samaru has more.
The finance bill raises more than 30 separate fines and penalties, from $100 infringements all the way to $600,000.
The size of the fine is deliberate. It is supposed to act as a deterrent, Mr. Speaker.
From increasing penalties for manufacturing coconut oil and vinegar without a license to limiting gambling machines operating a distillery without a license and higher fees for overloading party boats, the finance minister believes government is doing right by the people.
Many of these provisions protect people. They protect consumers. They protect passengers. They protect honest operators. They protect the environment. They protect public health. They improve people's lives. They protect citizens from being exposed to fake products, Mr. Speaker.
Minister Tanku said what is ironic is that these offences were not even created by the UNC government.
The offences and fines were created and put in place 99.9999999% of the time by the PNM.
He claimed it's the same PNM that now wants to protect lawlessness.
Shame, 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 Mr. Speaker.
And while the finance bill does contain heftier fines for offences, the minister said unlike what was peddled by the opposition, those increases cannot be classified as new taxes.
There are 31 clauses in this bill, Mr. Speaker, and not a single new tax that any citizen has to pay. You are misinforming the population. It's mischief.
But when it was Com Imbert's time to respond, he asked where in the UNC's campaign did it promise higher fines.
That is promise that they make that they kept. They promised to go increase all them fines. They're living in cloud cuckoo land, Mr. Speaker.
Imbert argued that some of these fines will hurt the very base that supported the UNC into power.
Distilling without a license. You can't make babash now, Mr. Speaker. That is what I mean. They are disconnected from the base from whence they came.
The former finance minister said this administration has made it clear that they are pro-big business.
A pensioner making bidding in the backyard to sell to the neighbor to supplement their income. They had to post a bond. Who are you protecting? Which one of your financiers are you protecting?
Imbert said the government should just be upfront and tell the population the real reason for raising the fines.
They said, boy, things looking tight. We ain't going to make the budget revenue this year. Let me just increase fines by 100% and hope we could make our deficit figures with that.
Since assuming office, the UNC administration has increasingly leaned on enhanced regulatory compliance and strict statutory penalties. The finance bill that creates the legal framework for these new increased fines needs a simple majority to pass. On June 15th, the mid-year review comes to the Parliament. Akash Samaru, CNC3 News.
But the finance bill was passed in the lower house, but with all 13 members of the opposition abstaining.
And this just in as Parliament debates an extension of the current state of emergency for another 3 months. Attorney General John Jeremy is tonight defending its impact on the fight against serious crime. The Attorney General says that based on information provided by the TTPS, the country has recorded its lowest murder rate in 2 decades in 2025 and continues to decrease in 2026 as well.
He also noted that police have made significant strides in dismantling gangs, with gang-related activity, which was a primary focus of the state of emergency. John Jeremy is now saying the government's efforts will not stop there, as he reveals authorities will also be targeting the 1% who facilitate and support gang activity as part of a broader strategy to combat organized crime.
An infraction of the law by the powerful and the 1% is no different from an infraction of the law by the poor little black youths in Mova and Lavantil. The time when they received the keys to the city and license to mash up the place, that time is over.
A suspected vandal is being blamed for the voltage dip that affected parts of the country this morning.
According to TN Tech, the man broke into the Brechin Castle substation and came into contact with a high voltage breaker, triggering the disturbance shortly before 9:45 a.m. However, the commission says widespread power outages were avoided because the National Grid's protective systems responded as designed, limiting the impact and keeping the network stable. TN Tech says security footage shows the intruder receiving an electric shock and falling to the ground before getting back up and fleeing the scene. He was later apprehended and taken for medical treatment for severe burns. The commission is again warning the public that tampering with electrical infrastructure can have deadly consequences, including electrocution and serious injury. It is urging people to stay away from substations, power lines, and other electrical equipment.
Excuse me. And for the second time in less than 24 hours, WASA is reporting a deliberate attack on critical national infrastructure.
This latest incident targeted the Tobago booster station, where vandalism forced an immediate shutdown of the facility, disrupting water supplies to thousands of residents in Tobago and surrounding communities.
Now, customers are now experiencing low water pressure or complete service interruptions as crews work to restore operations. The attack comes just hours after a similar attack of vandalism at the Beach booster station, raising concerns about what OWASA describes as a growing and alarming threat to essential public services.
The authority says the frequency and boldness of these attacks show a reckless disregard for citizens who rely on a consistent water supply every day. WASA says it is working closely with TNTech to restore service, with the Tobago booster station expected to be back online by 7:30 this evening. It's now time for the weather forecast with Sigoni.
Says.
I want to call Tobago and see if they have water. It's about that time.
Well, we are expecting some wet weather in our forecast. Maybe that could help our reservoirs in the next couple of hours into days, but it's not going to be a lot. Let's take a look at what's happening out there. Because right now what we are seeing is that Trinidad and Tobago today was covered by a significant amount of cloudiness, but we still had pockets where there was sunshine in the general area, and that helped us to warm up at times. Into this evening, what we notice is that we continue to look out for overnight shower reactivity. If you're in Tobago, looking out for isolated thunderstorm action as well, which will take us into that pre-dawn period. So if you have an early morning commute in Tobago, you may want to have the umbrellas on hand where we have that heavier downpour occurring. For Trinidad, though, we are seeing some isolated areas likely to receive thunderstorm action, mainly across southern and eastern portions of the island. Not saying that everywhere else isn't going to get showers, but the intensities will vary from light to moderate across the general area. Right now, we're under generally partly cloudy to cloudy pockets, and we'll see a gentle breeze as the evening picks up, though, and where we have heavier downpours, winds can become gusty. Take a look at what else is happening in the general area. We do have tropical wave activity back to back across Trinidad and Tobago and for the southern Windward Islands. So we continue to see an increase in moisture and instability in the atmosphere, which is why we will maintain that cloudiness as well as an increase in our wind flow. So you want to pay attention to that over the next couple of hours into days. But we still have some Saharan dust at play. It's a slight concentration of dust present in the atmosphere. So pay attention, because you may also feel the effects of that if you are sensitive to the changes in air quality. Into tomorrow's outlook, we maintain the cloudiness. Again, some early morning thunderstorm action or heavier downpours if you're in Tobago. For Trinidad, we'll see thunderstorm activity throughout the day, again along eastern, central, and southern portions of the island, and we could see with it gusty winds and the possibility of street or flash flooding. Temperatures aren't too bad into tomorrow's forecast, but you really want to be mindful of what's happening around you when you're conducting and commuting. If you're heading offshore now, well, we do have, with those showers and isolated thunderstorms, the possibility of choppy conditions within the nearshore and sheltered areas. So be mindful as you're heading off into the open waters as well. Waves will be approaching 2.5 meters, and our winds have been building steady over the last couple of hours. But here's what's happening now. In addition to the showery activity, we've got spring tide in effect with the upcoming new moon phase into the weekend ahead. So looking out for abnormal high and low tides during this forecast period, which means that all your marine interests, you need to exercise extra caution if you're venturing out there. So just to recap, showers and thunderstorms again, just a few isolated areas we'll see that happening, and we could see gusty winds in and around those showers, not just on land but offshore as well. And where we have a lot of heavy rain activity over the last few days, we could see street flooding and landslide activity. That is a possibility in this forecast, because along those hilly areas we've had so much consistent wet weather, it is likely.
All right, thank you so much, Sigoni. Let's tell you what's still to come in the news. Tonight, we take you behind the scenes of TNT's presidency to meet the staff who sustained it for 5 decades.
Dry, irritated skin can make everyday life uncomfortable. For those with eczema, psoriasis, or sensitive, damaged skin, Manuka Derm is made with medical-grade Manuka honey, not regular honey, known for its soothing and healing properties. It helps calm, protect, and support skin recovery. Suitable for dry skin, skin tears, excoriations, and minor superficial wounds and burns. Manuka Derm, powered by Manuka honey. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality bromate free, all purpose and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Calling all filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, a global effort to break the stigma that keeps too many men suffering in silence under mounting daily pressures.
While changing deep-rooted cultural expectations won't happen overnight, experts say the key is changing how we look at the men in our own lives.
But psychologist Professor Drew Lefman says changing individual perceptions is the first major step.
Wellness Wednesday, brought to you by BioStrath. Get what you need naturally.
We don't like to acknowledge that we are worried about our economic situation, about our family situation. We don't have all the answers like we're expected to.
For many men, anxiety, stress, and emotional struggles often go unnoticed or unspoken. And the statistics are sobering. Since 2020, men have accounted for 83% of self-inflicted deaths in Trinidad and Tobago. 4 out of every 5 suicide victims are men, a figure that exceeds the global average. Experts say societal expectations, financial pressures, relationship challenges, and the long-standing belief that men should simply tough it out are all contributing to worsening mental health outcomes. As June marks Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, advocates are calling for a shift in the conversation, one that encourages men to speak openly, seek support, and develop healthier ways to cope with life's pressures. Among those leading that discussion is Professor Drew Lefman, a U.S.-based counseling psychologist who will be in Trinidad for a conference aimed at creating safe spaces for conversations about stress, emotional well-being, resilience, and personal growth.
We think that men are fine the way they are. They're strong, they provide, and their issues are maybe overlooked as a result of that.
The conference, titled The Resilient Man, also aims to challenge the stigma that often prevents men from asking for help. Organizers say resilience is not about suffering in silence. Instead, it's about recognizing when support is needed and having the courage to reach for it.
It's to be aware that men don't have to all be the same way. And I also think that there is a strength in admitting when you need help. There's a strength in being able to acknowledge some of the internal, what's happening inside our minds and our hearts, to be able to own and accept those parts of ourselves. There's a strength in that.
As awareness grows this month, the message is clear. Strength is not measured by how much pain a man can hide. Sometimes the strongest thing he can do is start a conversation, because speaking up could save a life. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.
Wellness Wednesday, brought to you by BioStrath.
Get what you need naturally.
We're going to check in on Jassy and his mental health. He's back with a preview of sports, including news on two of the Caribbean's crown jewels.
Yeah, we're talking Diamond League track and field, where Jareem and sprint queen Julian Alfred landed on the podium in Oslo. And TNT's heroic shot stopper Smith pulls positives from the Soca Warriors' Russian expedition. Stick around, we'll have more in sport.
With Alive multivitamins by Nature's Way, you won't be defined by time. You'll own every minute of it. Discover how you can age vibrantly with Alive.
In every room, Vision sets the standard. For a limited time only, get your progressive transition lenses with an anti-reflective coating, designer frames, and eye exams. Starting at $16.50, only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
Win one of 100 shopping sprees. Super Mom, Super Dad, Super Wins sweepstakes is here at Passad's the Food King and Bright Ideas. This is your chance to shop, enter, and win weekly. Here's how you can win. Every time you spend $300, you get an entry form for your chance to win one of 100 shopping sprees. Plus, every Saturday during Alive draws, you can shop, spin, and win instantly at any Passad's the Food King. Hurry! Promotion ends June 24th and is NLCB approved.
Quality value, that's our way. A real Versailles, we're here to stay. The Food King Versailles.
Welcome back. It's time for sport now. The 2026 FIFA World Cup begins tomorrow with an opening fixture between co-hosts Mexico and the 2010 hosts South Africa. 7,200 feet above sea level at the Azteca Stadium will raise the curtain on a tournament already in turmoil.
Just strong, let's go.
In a rare press conference, FIFA President Gianni Infantino attempted to do some damage control 24 hours before the start of the quadrennial at Mexico's Azteca Stadium. Infantino used the platform to defend ticket prices, visa issues, and sought to change the narrative surrounding the sport's governing body and the U.S. government's handling of the tournament.
Of course, it is unfortunate as well what happened to Omar, the referee from Somalia. But again, we don't control everything. Maybe sometimes it's good as well to just, chill, relax. Again, if you want to criticize me, it's fine. It's okay. But promote the unity of the World Cup.
The football world has been soured by the hostile welcome to which the United States has treated its international guests. Within recent days, players have been searched on the tarmac. Several other members of team contingents, fans, journalists, and Somalia's first ever referee chosen for the finals have also been denied entry to the country. Today, Omar Akhtar, the Confederation of African Football's 2025 Referee of the Year, received a hero's welcome on his return to Aden Ade International Airport in Mogadishu, with several citizens showing up to support and greet him and celebrate their new national hero. The hemisphere already had a tough act to follow. USA, Mexico, and Canada 2026's predecessor, Qatar 2022, was widely hailed as one of the greatest tournaments in recent history. The final proved its crowning moment, a capsule of the drama, emotion, and passion which typifies the world's most played sport, all culminating in Argentina earning its third star.
And in 2022, the world champions Argentina.
All right, well, as you saw, the World Cup is set to get underway tomorrow, and excitement is bubbling among fans across Trinidad and Tobago. We hit the streets today to find out which teams have captured the public support to lift the coveted trophy.
I cannot say, but my husband would want France to win.
I believe Argentina is going to win this World Cup this year.
And what?
Well, it's obvious because they have the best player in the world. Let's see.
I'm back in Argentina because I'm on side till we die.
So I think France might win the World Cup again this year because the players really been excelling in their own parts and there's a powerhouse team.
France, the team from PSG, most of them playing for the French country. And they have a very strong team.
Nah, I believe Brazil. I want Brazil to win it. They were supporting since they're small.
Portugal, Bruno Fernandes.
France, I mean, not the best players in the world.
Seems that the French might have the public's vote this time around. To some cricket news now, the West Indies women will go into the ICC Women's T20 World Cup bearing back-to-back warm-up defeats. This after Australia beat the women by 6 wickets in Cardiff, Wales on Wednesday. The women in maroon failed to set a challenging total after choosing to bat first. Ian Wason reports.
West Indies women made a bad start after choosing to bat, losing Kiana Joseph for 5 with a score on 7. Aliyah Allen made 10 before her stumps were disturbed. The score was then 30 for 2. Deandra Dutton joined Hayley Matthews, who stuck around long enough to get 15 runs. But she was bowled at 52 for 3 in the 8th over. Jazara Claxton and Dutton then set about repairing the innings. They put on 45 for the 4th wicket, which turned out to be the best partnership of the innings. Claxton was caught for 15 from 17 balls at 97 for 4. Chanel Henry was 5th out with 100 runs on the board. Dutton, who made 49 on Monday, was again dismissed agonizingly close to 50, run out on 46. Her wicket triggered a slide where West Indies lost 5 wickets for 19 runs, bowled out for 131 in 20 overs. Unlike West Indies, Australia got a good start from their opening pair. Georgia Vole and Beth Mooney put on 48 for the first wicket, and their stand was only broken when Mooney retired hurt. Ellis Perry only made 5 before she was Karishma Ramarak's wicket with a score on 60. For the next 33 runs, Vole dominated, leaving Ashley Gardner a mere spectator. At 93 for 3, Gardner was bowled by Joseph. Matthews then got in the act as Australia were 94 for 4. But Vole finished unbeaten on 77 as Australia got over the line at 132 for 4 in 15 overs to win with 30 balls to spare. West Indies will now focus on their opening World Cup match against New Zealand on Saturday. Ian Wason, CNC3 Sport.
Meanwhile, the West Indies Academy had the better of the exchanges on the 3rd day of the first unofficial test against Sri Lanka emerging players, leaving the match evenly poised heading into the final day. The visitors started day 3 on 273 for 5 with Rivaldo Clark on 72 not out. He went on to register 127 as the West Indies Academy scored 381 to lead by 35. Sri Lanka's emerging players in their second innings closed day 3 on 173 for 5. They now lead by 148 runs with 5 wickets in hand. Trinidad and Tobago's Jareem Richards secured a bronze medal at the Wonder Diamond League's latest stop today. Botswana's Letsile Tobago won the men's 200 in Oslo, Norway in 19.84 seconds ahead of South Africa's Sinsife Dambele, with Richards third in 20.50.
Gout's got a lot of work to do. People standing up around us. Gout has gone. Tobago is exerting his superiority and he jogs over the line. It's another impressive performance from Tobago. 1984, a season's best. We sensed it was coming.
The Caribbean, and more specifically St. Lucia, had more reason to rejoice when Olympic 100-meter queen Julian Alfred beat the field.
Going well is Julian Alfred. Amy Hunt's got a little bit of work to do, but she comes good in the latter stage of the race. But it's Julian Alfred stretching away. The Olympic champion has got this done. Keep an eye on the top. 10.76, but a win is a win.
There's some track and field action right here on home soil, with the 400-meter being the late Dion Lendo's pet event. Tonight, the quarter-milers are in focus from the just-concluded Dion Lendo Track Classic. Caston Cupid has the highlights.
Concord's Carifta bronze medalist Toli Caruth put on the afterburners when the girls under 17 of 400 meters got going. Caruth ran a blistering 56.14 in the time final to secure the gold. Quija Grooves of Track Blazers, who was just behind in 59.42, had to settle for the bronze because Jadel Joseph of Burnley Athletic came second in 59.28 seconds when she won the previous heat. It was a Concord sweep in the division when Julian Chinley ran down Cougars Athletic Lyndon George. Chinley's golden time was 49.17, and George 49.83 took silver, with Neon World's Chassivi Charles third in 50.31 seconds. In the under 20 division, the host club showed out. Wildcats' Kyla Charles stood firm to take gold in 56.79. Akira Malava of IG Fastlane was second in 57.11, and Charis McKee of Pace and Performance third in 57.50. In the boys equivalent, the Wildcats went 1-2. Zachary Frank took gold in 47.51. Silver went to Alfred Pierre, who returned a time of 48.98. Fulfilling's Jaden Valentine, who won his heat, was third in 50.19 seconds. The Open Women's only had 3 participants, but that didn't stop the Wildcats' Amaya Mitchell. She won in 57.22. Seconds was Diamond Paul of Point Fortin and Janice Gooding of Fulfilling third. The Open Men's produced the fastest time across all divisions as Memphis pioneer Cyril Summer ate up the track. 47 flat his time, with Kyle Cummins representing Burnley second in 48.11 and the unattached Jabari Branch third in 50.02. Caston Cupid, CNC3 Sport.
Well, despite Trinidad and Tobago's 3-0 defeat away to Russia in yesterday's international friendly in Kaliningrad, senior men's national goalkeeper Denzel Smith was grateful for the stern test of the team's level. Smith was called into action almost immediately and throughout in that encounter, but says the experience could prove valuable to the group's long-term development.
I feel good. This is the kind of games you want, because with these games they could test our ability, you know. And yeah, we have an important Nations League coming up, September, October, and this is the kind of game we want, you know, to showcase ourselves, and maybe it could make us reach further than where we are today, you know, playing these kind of games. So I'm really happy.
Developing local talent and creating opportunities for community footballers were the main goals behind the Takeover football tournament hosted last Thursday at the Marvin Lee Stadium by local media sports platforms The Interception and We Are Biased. Interception representative Liu Chin spoke with us about the vision behind the event and its potential impact on the local game.
This is really an initiative for a lot of the community players. A lot of these tournaments, you know, you see the pros come out, and we like to see the pros, we like to see the talent, but we also want to see some of the players that don't get that shine on a regular basis. And that was the reason why we designed the tournament, or the sponsors designed the tournament for, you know, not just the pros, but the community ballers as well.
Well, the St. Augustine Zooks defeated exclusive Top Form 1-0 in the tournament final. The last of FIFA World Cup warm-up matches are still serving up gems. One of them makes tonight's Sport High.
Portugal came from behind to beat Nigeria 2-1, and it's the winning goal from Francesco Conceição that was the pick of the lot. In a jam-packed box, he threaded this low blast, finding the bottom corner. Yes. So Conceição, for finding the alternate route home like a ride share, you earn tonight's CNC3 Sport High.
That is it for sport. The big show, the big dance begins tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Jassy. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
The moment my children came into my life, I do everything I can for them to live healthy, enjoyable lives. Nature's Ways Alive Kids Gummies are multivitamin gummies meant to support the development of children's bodies. They come in delicious fruit flavors and contain natural plant-based pectin. This means that if I'm looking for an alternative to animal-based gelatin for personal reasons, they are the best choice for my little ones. Choose Alive Kids Gummies by Nature's Way for your children, because they deserve it.
Plumbing problems? Don't guess. Call Plumbing Solutions at 628-4646. Proud to be serving Trinidad and Tobago for over 20 years. We do it all. Maintenance and repairs, new construction, sewer lines, inspection, drain cleaning, leak detection. We are licensed and insured. So call Plumbing Solutions at 628-4646.
But here's a look at tonight's regional roundup.
The Pan American Health Organization says taxes on alcohol and sugary drinks in the Americas are too low to fight chronic disease. A new report shows regional tax rates fall well below global averages, even as Latin America and the Caribbean face some of the highest consumption rates in the world. PAHO is urging governments to raise taxes to discourage consumption and revenue for healthcare. Guyana is set to open its first specialized school for children with autism later this year. First Lady Arya Ali announced the initiative, noting that more than $300 million Guyana dollars have been allocated in the national budget to expand support services and educational opportunities for persons with disabilities. The new facility will be built at the Cyril Potter College of Education. Guyanese author Tessa McWatt has won the prestigious OCM Bocas Prize for Caribbean Literature for her memoir, The Snag. The book explores the grief of losing her mother to dementia, intertwined with the collective grief of climate change. Accepted at a ceremony in Trinidad and Tobago, McWatt says the coveted award is a real joy and feels like a win for her mother, who inspired the story. Liana Maharaj, CNC3 News.
Trinidad and Tobago's presidency is not only the story of the 7 individuals who have occupied the nation's highest office, but also of the generations of staff whose quiet dedication has sustained it for 5 decades.
That was a message from Christine Kangaloo as she launched a year-long commemoration marking the 150th anniversary of President's House and the 50th anniversary of TNT becoming a republic. At an interfaith Thanksgiving service, Kangaloo paid tribute to past and present employees of the Office of the President, describing them as the unseen force behind the institution's success. Honorees included former and current aide-de-camp, aides to presidential spouses, controllers of household, secretaries to the President, and other members of staff who serve the institution with distinction. Awards were presented to individuals whose service ranged from 10 years to more than 3 decades, recognizing their contribution to the smooth functioning of the country's highest office.
You have served people. You have served human beings who happen for a period of time to live under the weight and responsibility of national office. You have helped presidents and their families to feel secure, settled, respected, and cared for. You have made difficult lives easier. You have made public service more possible. That is why today matters. It matters because service that takes place in silence must not disappear into silence.
As part of the anniversary celebrations, Kangaloo also unveiled an exhibition chronicling the history of President's House and the Office of the President. She said the project supports efforts to create a comprehensive archive of the nation's presidential history, warning that countries that fail to preserve their records risk losing not only facts and photographs, but also the stories of those whose contributions often go unnoticed.
A nation that fails to record its history does not merely lose dates and photographs. It loses texture. It loses memory. It loses the names of people who gave the best of themselves in places where the public seldom looked. It loses lessons that could guide the future. We must not allow that to happen here.
Calling on citizens to embrace unity and mutual respect, Kangaloo said Trinidad and Tobago's diversity remains one of the Republic's greatest strengths. Well, students of Blanchisseur's Government Primary and La Follette RC schools got a first-hand look at the exciting world of journalism during a career day that sparked curiosity, laughter, and plenty of questions.
From the moment the session began, the pupils were eager to learn about the fast-paced world of news. Their questions ranged from how journalists find stories and conduct interviews to whether reporters ever get nervous while appearing on television. The interactive session quickly turned into a lively exchange, with students volunteering to conduct mock interviews and trying their hands at asking questions like seasoned reporters. Some even expressed dreams of becoming journalists, television presenters, and media personalities in the future.
What is your favorite thing to do in life?
My favorite thing is to go and play with my family and be friends.
The budding news reporters were also given a glimpse into the importance of accuracy, fairness, and responsibility in reporting, learning that journalists play a critical role in keeping communities informed.
Yeah, really happy we were able to visit those two schools and to, you know, interact with those kids as well.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's how we end the 7 p.m. news here this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ria Rambali.
I'm Kijan Haynes.
I am Jassi Marik.
And I'm Sigoni Mohammed. Do have a good night.